So let's go ahead and take a look at number 6. Now I know you're looking at number 6 and saying, oh man, I hate word problems. Well, hopefully what I'll be able to do here is kind of convince you that this isn't really a word problem. It's just a problem with some words in it. And what I mean by that is that it's currently written in some words and we just want to rewrite it using algebra. So a very simple example would be something like this, is that if I wrote out 2 plus 2 equals, nope, go away. 2 plus 2 equals 4. Okay, so I wrote that out and using words, and I wrote it out into a sentence. But then you're like, and this is actually kind of the point of math, is that, well, what if I don't want to write it out? Or one of the points, I should say. What if I don't want to write it out like this? What if I want to rewrite it where I'm only using numbers and symbols? Well, obviously I could do that. I could write this, which means exactly the same thing. This was just using words, this using symbols. So what we're trying to do with this is really the same idea. We're trying to take all of these words, and instead of having it written out as a paragraph, we're trying to simplify it down to something similar to that. Now obviously this is a much simpler example, but that's kind of the idea that we're going for there. Alright, so let's try to translate this thing, because that's all we're doing here. This is just a translation from English into Mathlish. So I'm just going to try to do a translation. So it says that we're going to spend $60 on some ingredients, we're selling some cookies, and we're trying to make a profit. Okay, well first of all, that word profit, let's make sure that we're clear with what that means. And these may be some words that you're familiar with or not familiar with, so let's just make sure everybody's on the same page. So revenue, when you're talking about with a business, revenue is the money coming in. Right, so this is, we think of this as our money in. Right, so if you're selling stuff or whatever it is that you do, minus your expenses, right? Maybe you got to pay rent, or at least in this case, we have to buy the flour and the sugar and all this stuff to be able to make the cookies, right? So that's money that goes out. And then what we're hoping for is that we have a profit, which is the money left over. So we'll say money left over. Alright, so let's just see that we're clear on this. Revenue, that's the money coming in, minus expenses is the money coming out, and then whatever's left over, right, would be our profit. So let's see what our revenue is, maybe our money coming in. Well, it says that we're selling cookies for $2. So what we're having coming in is we're having $2 come in for every cookie we sell. Now I don't know how many cookies we sold, and that's actually the question is asking how many cookies do you need to sell. So I don't know how many cookies, so I can just say C, and we'll say that that is the number of cookies. Alright, minus our expenses, our money out. Well, let's see what money went out. Well, it says that we spent $60 on the ingredients. Again, those would be the chocolate chips and the flour, sugar, all that kind of stuff. So we spent $60, so the money going out would be minus 60. And then in terms of our profit, so let's see, what does it say about our profit? We want to make at least $360. Okay. So this is going to be a little bit different, because here I wrote equals, but we're actually just trying to make at least 360. So if you think of at least 360, we're saying that's the minimum, that's the floor. If we make more than 360, then great, right? That's the point of any business. Try and make as much money as you can. So what we're saying is that whatever our profit is, it has to be at least 360. So I'm going to put 360 here, and then we're going to have to decide, well, it's not equals, because we said it doesn't have to be exactly 360. If we made more, then great. So then what we want it to be is that we want it to be greater than or equal to 360. Right? So let's maybe make a note of that. Is that what at least refers to? Let's make a note. Where did we say at least? Oh, at least. Right? So at least means greater than or equal to. And then that would be similar if I said, you have to be at least 18 to vote. right? So it's not just people that are 18 that vote, it's 18 and up. So that's what we're saying when we say at least. We're saying that amount and up. So we'd be happy with making 360 and up. So that's where it would be greater than or equal to. All right, so there we did our translation. So just like a moment ago I wrote 2 plus 2 equals 4, and then I wrote 2 plus 2 equals 4. Well, we did the same thing. We just did the translation. We translated all of this big old paragraph, and we translated it into that, right? So let's go ahead and solve it. Well, let's take out the $60, right, that we spend on expenses, and then it looks like we're going to have to, the number of cookies is that we want the number of cookies to be greater than or equal to 210 cookies, right? And again, it's greater than or equal to, because if we sell more than 210, great, that's more money in our pocket, so we're happy. Now, as far as graphing this, let's just put 0 in the middle. I know that's, we're not going to count by ones all the way up to 210, right? So, just kind of use our imagination a little bit. Let's throw down 210 over here. And then what we're saying is that 210 or more. So if I wanted to say, well, what's 210 or more? Well, it'd be 210 or everything that's bigger than 210, right? So that's what I would look at as far as the graph. And then this last part of it, it says to identify 3 possible solutions. So all that means is basically just, what's the number of cookies you could sell and we would be reach our goal? Well, you could sell 210, or you could sell 211, or you could sell 2010, or you could sell 2,010,010, right? So it doesn't really matter. We're basically just saying any amount greater than 210. So I don't know what I say there, 2 million or whatever. Basically any number bigger than 210, right? All right, so go ahead and pause now and try 6.2 and 6.3 in the middle. Okay, so hopefully you've had a chance to try 6.2 and 6.3. So 6.2 should have got x greater than or equal to 100, or you may have chosen to use B for brownie since we're selling brownies. And for 6.3, should have got x greater than or equal to 110. Maybe you chose C for cake, right, since we're selling cake in that instance. All right, so that concludes number 6.